Before you spend another penny, check your change. Some Lincoln pennies look completely ordinary, but a few rare examples could be worth thousands, even millions of dollars. Today, we're counting down the top 5 Lincoln pennies that collectors are desperately searching for. Could you have one right now? It's a single penny, a coin so small it barely registers in your palm. And yet, in the chaotic high-stakes world of elite numismatics, this humble piece of pocket change has achieved a status usually reserved for Renaissance masterpieces and vintage Ferraris. A ghost, a legend, a coin so rare that its very existence feels like a beautiful mistake. We are talking, of course, about the 1982 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. Not just any penny, but the specific, almost mythical combination of a D Mint mark, a small date, and a composition of 95% copper. A coin that has sent shockwaves through the collecting community and has a potential market value that could change your life forever. A value that is whispered in the corridors of auction houses and debated in hushed tones at coin shows. We are talking about a penny worth up to $780,000. Stop and think about that for a moment. $780,000. For a penny. It sounds like the plot of a Hollywood heist movie, doesn't it? A treasure hiding in plain sight, masquerading as 1 cent. But this is not fiction. This is the reality of modern numismatics. A world where the line between pocket change and life-altering wealth is thinner than the edge of a coin itself. Now, I want you to do something for me. Right now, pause this video. I'll wait. Go to your pocket. Check your wallet. Look in that jar on your nightstand where you toss your spare change at the end of the day. Are you back? Good. Because the coin you just ignored, the coin you might have spent on a piece of gum, could very well be the key to your financial freedom. That is the premise of today's investigation. The fear of missing out is real. The spender sees a penny. The collector sees a potential fortune. Which one are you? Let's travel back to 1982. It was a year of transition. The United States Mint was in the midst of a monumental shift. A change so significant it would create one of the most confusing and valuable errors in American coinage history. The rising cost of copper had made it more expensive to produce a penny than the coin was actually worth. Something had to give. So, the Mint decided to change the composition of the Lincoln cent from a 95% copper, 5% zinc alloy, weighing 3.11 grams, to a cheaper copper-plated zinc composition, weighing just 2.5 grams. This was a massive logistical undertaking. To facilitate this transition, the Mint began producing coins in both the old copper composition and the new zinc composition simultaneously. To make matters even more complex for numismatists, they also introduced 2 distinct die varieties for the date, the large date and the small date. This created a dizzying matrix of possibilities. The Philadelphia Mint produced coins with no mint mark, and the Denver Mint produced coins with a D mint mark. In total, 7 different varieties of the 1982 Lincoln cent were officially struck for circulation. But here is where the story takes a turn into the realm of the truly extraordinary. Within this logistical chaos, a mistake was made. A beautiful, valuable, and almost impossibly rare mistake. In the Denver Mint, amidst the production of billions of new zinc planchets, a small number of leftover copper planchets from the previous year were inadvertently fed into the presses. These planchets were struck with the new small date dies, creating a coin that should not exist. The 1982 D small date copper penny. This is the coin we are here to discuss. It is a transitional error, a cousin to the legendary 1943 bronze cents, and it is the undisputed holy grail of modern Lincoln cent collecting. It is a ghost in the market because for decades, no one even knew it existed. Let's get into the technical details, because this is where the line between a common penny and a 6-figure treasure is drawn. First, the mint mark. You need a D. This signifies it was struck at the Denver Mint. The Philadelphia P small date copper exists, but it is the D variety that is the ultra-rare transitional error. Second, the date. You are looking for the small date variety. How do you tell the difference? It's all in the details. Look closely at the 2 in 1982. On the small date, the 2 sits noticeably farther from the rim of the coin than on the large date variety. Also, examine the 8. On a small date, the bottom loop of the 8 sits on or above an imaginary horizontal line drawn through the top of the 1 and 9. On a large date, the bottom of the 8 bulges below this line. It's a subtle difference, but it is the difference between a coin worth a few cents and a coin worth a fortune. Third, the weight. This is the most critical diagnostic tool. The common zinc pennies weigh 2.5 grams. The rare copper transitional error weighs 3.11 grams. This is a tangible, physical difference that you can measure. If you have a 1982D penny that looks like a small date and weighs 3.1 grams, you have just found a numismatic unicorn. Now let's talk about the sheer, breathtaking rarity of this coin. We are not talking about a coin that is hard to find. We are talking about a coin that is nearly impossible to find. For years, only one authenticated example of the 1982D small date copper penny was known to exist. It was a unique specimen, a one-of-a-kind artifact. Then, in 2019, the numismatic world was stunned when a second example was discovered and authenticated by the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. That's it. As of this recording, only 2 confirmed examples of this coin are known to exist. Only 2. In a world where billions of pennies are produced, only 2 of these specific coins have ever been found. Think about the odds of that. It is the very definition of extreme rarity. This brings us to the heart of the matter, the value. What is a ghost worth? What is a legend worth? For the 1982D small date copper penny, the answer is a staggering amount. The first authenticated specimen, graded AU58 by NGC, sold at auction for $18,800. A significant sum, to be sure, but that was just the beginning. As the market has come to understand the true, almost mythical rarity of this coin, its potential value has skyrocketed. High-grade certified examples are now estimated to be worth well over $50,000. Some experts believe that a pristine, mint-state example could shatter records and fetch upwards of $780,000 at auction. $780,000. For a penny. This is not just a coin. It is a piece of American history, a tangible link to a pivotal moment in our nation's monetary policy, and a potential ticket to financial independence. The market is hot. The urgency is real. In the world of high-end coin collecting, rarity is king, and the 1982D small date copper penny sits on the throne. Every serious collector wants one. Every auction house dreams of selling one. The demand far outstrips the supply, and with only 2 known examples, the price can only go up. This is not a speculative bubble. This is a fundamental economic principle. Extreme scarcity combined with high demand creates immense value. And right now, the market is hungrier than ever for these transitional treasures. So what does this mean for you? It means that the next time you receive change from a cashier, you should take a moment. Look at the date. Look for the D. Check the weight. You are not just handling money, you are handling potential history. You are holding the possibility of a life-changing discovery. The spender sees a penny. The collector sees a story, a legacy, a fortune. This is the call to action. Become a collector. Educate yourself. Arm yourself with a simple digital scale that can measure to 0.01 grams. Know the difference between a small date and a large date. Train your eye to spot the subtle details. The treasure is out there, hiding in plain sight, in jars, in drawers, in the forgotten corners of our lives. It is waiting to be found by someone who knows what to look for. Don't let that someone be someone else. The fear of losing money is a powerful motivator, but the excitement of finding treasure is an even more powerful reward. This is the world of numismatics, a world where history, art, and finance collide. A world where a single coin can tell a story of industrial change, human error, and incredible value. The 1982D small date copper penny is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of what is possible. It is a reminder that wealth can be found in the most unexpected places. It is a testament to the enduring power of the hunt. We hope this exploration into the world of the 1982D small date copper penny has opened your eyes to the hidden potential in your pocket change. But our journey through the world of ultra-rare coins is just beginning. In our next video, we will be uncovering the secrets of another numismatic enigma, A coin so rare and so valuable that it makes the 1982 D penny look like pocket change. Stop what you are doing right now. Take a deep breath and ask yourself a single, honest question. When was the last time you actually looked at the change in your pocket? Not glanced at it, not shoved it into a jar, but truly looked? For most of you, the answer is never. And that, right there, is the difference between the 99% and the 1%. That is the difference between the spender and the collector. The spender sees a penny, shrugs, and tosses it aside. The collector sees a potential six-figure payday hiding in plain sight. Today, we are going to talk about a coin that has turned that very act of looking into a modern-day treasure hunt. We are talking about the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Cent. And we are going to reveal why this specific coin, a coin that looks like any other penny from your childhood, could be worth up to an astonishing $660,000. You heard that right. A single penny. A coin minted in a year of massive production could be your ticket to a life-changing windfall. The fear of missing out is real, because while you have been ignoring your pocket change, a silent revolution has been happening in the numismatic world. Coins that were once considered common are now commanding prices that rival luxury cars and down payments on houses. The 1967 penny is the ghost in the machine of American currency. It is the ultimate what-if coin. And the question you need to be asking yourself right now is not, is this real? But rather, do I have one in my house right now? So I want you to do something for me. Pause this video for just a second. Look around. Where is your change jar? Is it in the kitchen? On your nightstand? In the garage? Go get it. Bring it here. We are going to find out if you have been sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Act 2. The confrontation. To understand the value of the 1967 penny, you have to understand the chaos that was the United States Mint in the mid-1960s. The Coinage Act of 1965 changed everything. The nation was facing a severe coin shortage. People were hoarding silver coins because the silver content was worth more than the face value. The government had to act fast. They stopped using mint marks on all coins from 1965 to 1967 to try and discourage hoarding. They thought if you couldn't tell where a coin was made, you wouldn't be as tempted to save it. This was a date freeze, a time of intense production, and a period that created some of the most confusing and exciting errors in numismatic history. Now, here is where it gets technical, and this is where the money is. In 1967, the mint produced over 3 billion pennies. They were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, but they all carried no mint mark. Because of this, the standard 1967 penny is incredibly common. You can find them in circulation today, and they are worth about 2 to 5 cents for their copper content. But here is the secret. The value isn't in the common coin. The value is in the error. The 1967 penny is a ghost in the market because of a specific type of mint error that can make it worth a fortune. We are talking about the double die obverse, or DDO. This happens when the die that strikes the coin is impressed with the design more than once at a slightly different angle. This creates a dramatic, shadow-like doubling effect on the inscriptions. You need to look closely at the words liberty and in God we trust. If you see a clear, raised, three-dimensional shadow on those letters, you are not looking at machine doubling, which is worthless. You are looking at a true double die. But the error that truly sends collectors into a frenzy goes even deeper. We are talking about the elusive L on the rim error. Some 1967 pennies were struck with a die that had a misplaced letter L from the word liberty appearing on the edge of the coin. This is a die break or a cut error that is incredibly rare. The L on the rim is a hallmark of a coin that was struck under immense pressure with a failing die. Then there is the off-center strike, where the coin is not perfectly aligned with the dies, creating a crescent-shaped blank space. Or the wrong planchet error, where a penny was struck on a dime blank. These errors are the holy grail. They are the difference between a coin that is worth its weight in copper and a coin that can buy you a new car. And the most valuable of them all? The 1967 Special Mint Set, or SMS. From 1965 to 1967, the Mint didn't produce proof sets for collectors. Instead, they produced special mint sets, These coins were struck with a special, higher quality finish. They are sharper, with more detail and a mirror-like surface. In 1967, the SMS coins were almost indistinguishable from proofs. A 1967 SMS penny in pristine condition, especially with a cameo or deep cameo finish, is a masterpiece. These coins were not released into circulation. They were sold directly to collectors. But sometimes they escaped. Sometimes, one of these perfect, beautiful specimens found its way into a roll of regular pennies, and it ended up in someone's pocket change. And that is the dream. That is the treasure we are all hunting for. But here is the reality check. And this is your second attention reset. Most 1967 pennies are worth a few cents. The chances of finding a $660,000 error coin are slim. However, slim is not the same as zero. The numismatic market is hotter than it has ever been. People are looking for tangible assets. They are looking for history, for art, for a piece of the American story that they can hold in their hand. And the 1967 penny, with its unique history and potential for error, is at the center of that storm. Act 3. The resolution. So what is the bottom line? What is this coin actually worth on the open market? A standard circulated 1967 penny will fetch you about 10 to 20 cents. A nice, uncirculated example graded MS65 red can sell for around $50 to $60. But then we get to the errors. A strong double die obverse in uncirculated condition can bring in hundreds of dollars. A major die cut at the rim can be worth over $100. And the rare, high-grade SMS specimens with deep cameo finishes? Those have sold for thousands. But where does the $660,000 figure come from? It is a reflection of the potential. It is the price that a perfect storm of errors could command. Imagine a 1967 SMS penny, struck on a wrong planchet with a double die obverse, in perfect MS68 red condition. A coin that is the only one of its kind in existence. A coin that represents a unique moment in American history, when the government was scrambling, when the mint was experimenting, and when a mistake created a masterpiece. That is the coin that could reach that astronomical price. That is the coin that haunts the dreams of collectors. The market is screaming for quality. The auction houses are seeing record prices for error coins. The 1967 Kennedy half dollar, which also lacks a mint mark from this era, has sold for nearly $7,000. The 1969 S double die obverse penny routinely sells for over $25,000. The appetite for these hidden treasures is insatiable. And the 1967 penny is the next frontier. It is the coin that is still out there, still in circulation, still waiting to be discovered. It is the ghost that the collectors are chasing. This brings us to our final call to action. This is your third and most important attention reset. Go back to that change jar you grabbed earlier. Take out a magnifying glass or even just your phone's camera zoomed in. Look at every single 1967 penny you have. Check the date, check the L in Liberty, check the rim, check for doubling on the motto. Do not assume it is worthless. The experts at the Professional Coin Grading Service have shown that even a circulated 1967 penny can be valuable. You have nothing to lose and potentially everything to gain. You are not just looking at a penny. You are looking at a potential lottery ticket. You are looking at a piece of history that could change your life. The dream of finding hidden wealth in your pocket change is not a fantasy. It is a reality for those who pay attention. It is the reward for the curious. It is the payoff for the collector who refuses to be a spender. The 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial cent is out there. It is in someone's jar, someone's couch cushion, someone's old piggy bank. The question is, will you be the one to find it? Or will you be the one who spends it on a cup of coffee, never knowing what you just gave away? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of ultra-rare coins, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because next time we are going to be looking at a coin that is even rarer than this one. A coin that has a value so high, it will make the $660,000 penny look like pocket change. You do not want to miss it. But what if I told you that one specific penny, a 1962 D Lincoln Memorial cent, has the power to rewrite your financial future. What if I told you that a single coin, indistinguishable to the untrained eye from the billions of others minted that year, recently commanded a price tag that could buy you a house in the Midwest, a brand new luxury SUV, or a comfortable early retirement? Here is the question that separates the wealthy from the unaware. Are you a spender, or are you a collector? Every single day, millions of Americans empty their pockets, toss their change into jars, and spend their pennies without a second thought. They are unknowingly handling history, they are touching treasure, and they are letting it slip through their fingers like grains of sand. The 1962 D Lincoln cent is not just a coin. It is a ghost hiding in plain sight. And right now, somewhere in America, one of these ghosts is sitting in a jar, a drawer, or a forgotten box in an attic waiting to be discovered. The question is, will you be the one to find it? Let us talk about the numbers that will make your heart race. The Denver Mint produced an astonishing 1,793,148,400 Lincoln cents in 1962. That is nearly 1.8 billion pennies. By any measure, that is an astronomical mintage. When you hear a number like that, your brain immediately concludes common, ordinary, worthless. And for 99.9999% of those pennies, you would be exactly right. But here is where the story takes a sharp turn into the extraordinary. The 1962 D Lincoln cent is what numismatists call a sleeping giant. In lower grades, these coins are indeed common. In circulated condition, they trade for mere pocket change, maybe a dime, maybe a quarter, maybe nothing at all. But in the highest grades, in mint state 66 red and above, the 1962 D transforms from common copper into one of the most elusive Lincoln memorial cents in existence. Here is a fact that will stop you cold. The 1962 D Lincoln cent is the second most difficult memorial cent to find in grades of MS 66 or higher. Only the 1963 D is more challenging. Think about that for a moment. Out of the entire Lincoln Memorial series, spanning from 1959 to 2008, the 1962 D ranks as the second hardest to locate in pristine, uncirculated condition. The second hardest. Let that sink in. Why? Because most 1962 D Lincoln cents contain nicks, scratches, and corrosion spots. The luster is often dull. The surfaces are frequently marred by the rough handling that billions of coins inevitably endure. Finding one that has survived in flawless, brilliant red condition is like finding a needle in a haystack the size of a football field. And that is just the beginning. Now we enter the shadowy world of mint errors. This is where the 1962 D Lincoln cent truly earns its ghost-like reputation. During the early 1960s, U.S. mint workers still punched mint marks onto dies by hand using a steel rod and a hammer. This manual process was prone to human error. When a mint employee did not position the punch correctly on the first attempt, they had to strike again. The second punch at a slightly different angle created what collectors call a repunched mint mark, or RPM. On 1962 D pennies, you can find several documented RPM varieties where the D appears doubled or shows a ghostly shadow image. These errors are subtle. They are easy to miss. But they are also the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Grab a magnifying glass right now. Go ahead. I will wait. Look at the D mint mark below the date on any 1962 penny you have. Do you see a secondary image of the letter slightly offset from the primary mark? Do you see portions of an extra D peeking out from behind the main letter? That shadow, that ghostly doubling, is the fingerprint of a manual minting process that no longer exists. It is history frozen in metal. Most 1962 D repunched mint mark pennies sell for $3 to $10 in circulated condition. Uncirculated examples with strong, clear doubling can reach $15 to $25. But exceptionally dramatic RPMs can command significantly higher premiums. And when you combine an RPM with high-grade condition, that is when the numbers start climbing into serious territory. But RPM errors are only part of the story. The 1962 D Lincoln cent also suffers from what the trade calls off-metal errors. These occur when a correctly made blank from one denomination is accidentally fed into a press striking another denomination. Imagine the chaos of a massive mint production line. Millions of planchets racing through machinery. Somewhere, a dime planchet ends up in the penny press. The result? A Lincoln cent struck on a silver dime planchet. These coins are extraordinarily rare. They are also extraordinarily valuable. In 1962, the composition of the Lincoln cent was changing from bronze to brass. The timing could not have been more chaotic for the mint. Cents struck during this transitional period on the wrong planchet represent some of the most sought-after error coins in American numismatics. The Gray Sheet Pricing Guide documents a 1962 D Lincoln cent struck on a dime planchet. The weight is off. The metal composition is wrong. And the value? Far, far beyond face value. There are also documented cases of 1962 D Lincoln cents struck off-center on split planchets. Imagine a coin where the design is shifted dramatically to one side, leaving a crescent of blank metal on the other. These are not imperfections. These are works of art born from mechanical failure. And collectors pay a premium for that failure. Let us talk about the $660,000 question. You have heard me mention a staggering number.
$662,000.
That is not a typo. That is not hyperbole. That is the potential market value of a specific 1962 D Lincoln cent with the right combination of error, condition, and rarity. How does a penny reach that kind of valuation? It starts with condition. A 1962 D Lincoln cent in MS66 red condition is already considered scarce. The PCGS price guide values such a coin at over $240. That is a remarkable return on a 1-cent investment. But that is just the beginning. When you introduce a dramatic mint error into the equation, the value multiplies exponentially. A 1962 D Lincoln cent struck on a dime planchet. A 1962 D with a dramatic repunched mint mark in flawless condition. A 1962 D with a significant off-center strike on a split planchet. These are the coins that make auction houses buzz with excitement. The Heritage Auctions archives contain records of 1962 D error coins selling for thousands of dollars. But the truly exceptional specimens, the ones that combine high grade with rare errors, those are the coins that can reach six-figure territory. And here is the part that should keep you up at night. No one knows exactly how many of these error coins are still out there. Unsealed bags of 5,000 1962 D Lincoln cents still exist and are selling in the $300 range. Original rolls can still be acquired for $5 to $10 each. Somewhere in those bags, in those rolls, in that jar on your counter, there could be a coin that changes everything. The market for error coins is heating up. Collectors are hungry. Auction prices are climbing. The 1969 South Double Die Lincoln Center has pulled high 5-figure and low 6-figure prices when it appears at auction. The 1982 D Bronze Small Date Lincoln cent sold for $18,800 in 2017. These are not anomalies. These are market signals. The 1962 D is the ghost in the machine. It is the coin that everyone overlooks because the mintage numbers are so massive. It is the coin that sits in the background while collectors obsess over flashier dates and more famous errors. And that is exactly why the 1962 D represents such an incredible opportunity. The numismatic market is driven by supply and demand. The supply of high-grade 1962 D Lincoln cents is incredibly low. The demand from collectors is growing. And when a coin with a dramatic error appears at auction, the bidding can become ferocious. FOMO is real in the coin world. And right now, the 1962 D is generating serious FOMO among serious collectors. Let me reset your attention for a moment. Stop whatever you are doing. Look at your pocket change. Look at that jar of pennies on your dresser. Look at that box of old coins in your closet. Are you looking? Good. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you actually examined a penny? When was the last time you looked at the mint mark? When was the last time you checked for doubling, for errors, for the subtle fingerprints of history? Most people never look. Most people spend their pennies without a second thought. And that is exactly why the 1962 D Lincoln cent remains one of the greatest undiscovered treasures in American coinage. You do not need to be a professional numismatist to find value. You do not need to spend thousands of dollars on rare coins. All you need is a magnifying glass, a little bit of knowledge, and the willingness to look closely at what others overlook. Here is your call to action. Start looking. Check every 1962 penny you come across. Examine the mint mark for repunching. Look for off-center strikes. Check the weight. If it feels wrong, it might be struck on the wrong planchet. Pay attention to the condition. A coin in pristine, uncirculated condition is worth far more than a worn example. Get your coins graded. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC authenticate and encapsulate error coins, giving them a certification that adds tremendous value to the marketplace. A graded coin is a trusted coin, and a trusted coin commands higher prices. Do not delay. The market for error coins is moving fast. Collectors are becoming more sophisticated. The window of opportunity for finding these coins in the wild is closing. Every day, more 1962D pennies are being melted down, lost, or spent into circulation. Every day, the supply of these coins shrinks. The 1962D Lincoln cent is a ghost. It is a phantom of the minting process, a relic of a bygone era when coins were struck by hand and errors were part of the production reality. It is hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with the knowledge and the patience to find it. Will that someone be you? The difference between a spender and a collector is awareness. The spender sees 1 cent. The collector sees history, rarity, and potential. The spender empties their pockets without a thought. The collector examines every coin, knowing that treasure could be hiding in the most unlikely places.
$662.
That is what a single 1962D Lincoln cent could be worth. That is what is sitting in someone's pocket change right now. That is what could be sitting in yours. Do not let this opportunity pass you by. Start looking. Start learning. Start collecting. The ghost is out there. The question is, are you ready to find it? And if you think the 1962D is remarkable, wait until you hear about the 1969 South Double Die Lincoln Center. A coin that has sold for over $126,000 and continues to climb. That is a story for another time. But for now, keep your eyes open, keep your magnifying glass handy, and never, ever underestimate the power of pocket change. You are about to discover the story of the 1968 South Lincoln Memorial Center. A coin that numismatists call a ghost. A treasure that has slipped through the fingers of millions of Americans who had no idea what they were holding. This is not just another video about old coins. This is a hunt. This is a wake-up call. And by the time you finish watching, you will never look at your pocket change the same way again. Pause for a moment. Think about every single penny you have ever spent without a second thought. Think about the change you tossed into a tip jar, the pennies you left on the counter because they were not worth the effort. Now imagine, just imagine, that one of those pennies bore a tiny S mint mark and a nearly invisible imperfection that turned it into a 6-figure prize. This is the story of the ultimate spender versus collector dilemma. The spender sees a penny and thinks, it's just a cent. It buys nothing. The collector sees a penny and thinks, what if this is the one? And in the world of high-stakes numismatics, that one question has made ordinary people extraordinarily wealthy. So before you scroll past, before you dismiss this as just another coin video, I want you to do something. I want you to look down at your hands, empty your pockets, check your wallet, check your junk drawer, because the coin I am about to describe to you is so rare, so elusive, and so valuable that finding one would be like winning the lottery, except you don't have to buy a ticket. You just have to know what to look for. Welcome to the hunt for the $660,000 penny. Let us begin. The year was 1968. America was in turmoil. The Vietnam War raged. Civil rights protests shook the nation. And at the United States Mint, something historic was happening. For the first time since 1965, mint marks were returning to American coinage. The Coinage Act of 1965 had temporarily removed mint marks to discourage hoarding, but by 1968, the government decided it was safe to bring them back. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 1.7 billion pennies without a mint mark. The Denver Mint produced more than 2.8 billion with a D. And the San Francisco Mint, the smallest of the three, produced just 258,270,001 business strike pennies and 3,041,506 proof specimens. That might sound like a lot, and in the grand scheme of things, it is. But when you consider that over 4.5 billion pennies were struck in 1968 alone, the San Francisco issue represents less than 6% of the total production. And within that already small group, a tiny fraction contains the errors that make them worth a fortune. Now, here is where things get interesting. The San Francisco Mint was known for its quality control. Proof coins, those specially struck for collectors, were supposed to be flawless. But even the best mints make mistakes. And in 1968, the San Francisco Mint made a series of errors that would go down in numismatic history. The first and most famous of these errors is the 1968 S-double die obverse, designated FS101. This error occurred during the die-making process when the hub impressed the design onto the working die more than once at slightly different angles. The result was a shadow or doubling effect on key design elements, most notably the word liberty and the phrase "In God We Trust." Under 10-power magnification, the letters appear to have a secondary image, almost like a ghost floating just beneath the surface. This is not the kind of doubling that comes from a worn die or a machine malfunction. This is a true double die, and it is highly prized by collectors. A 1968 South Proof DDO in Prairie 68 red grade has sold for around $517 at auction. Circulated business strikes with visible doubling typically trade between $25 and $150. But here is the catch. Most of the doubling you see on 1968 S pennies is not true double die doubling at all. It is machine doubling, also known as shelf doubling, caused by a slight bounce or movement of the die during the striking process. This type of doubling is flat and appears on only one side of the letters, and it adds virtually no value to the coin. The 1968 S penny is also known for repunched mint mark varieties. Before 1990, mint workers hand-punched mint marks onto coin dies using steel punches and hammers. Sometimes they missed or struck at the wrong angle, requiring a second punch. This created the distinctive repunched appearance that collectors seek today. At least two repunched S over S varieties are known for 1968 S, though both are considered quite subtle and uninteresting to general collectors. But the true holy grail, the coin that numismatists whisper about in hushed tones, is not a double die or a repunched mint mark. It is a ghost in the market, a coin so rare that it barely exists in the public record. We are talking about the 1968 South Lincoln Center struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine this, a penny but it weighs the wrong amount. A penny but it is struck on a dime planchet or a nickel planchet or even a foreign coin planchet. These off-metal errors are the crown jewels of the error coin world. A 1968 South Lincoln Center struck on a dime planchet is a rare wrong planchet error involving modern U.S. mint-proof coinage. A 1968 South Lincoln Center struck on a 10-cent planchet in PR 67 grade has been documented and sold at auction. And then there is the double denomination error, a 1968 South Lincoln Center struck on a 1967 Costa Rica 10-cent planchet. That coin, graded MS68 by NGC, sold for $4,560. A mated pair of 1968 S Lincoln cents, coin number 1 struck on a 10-cent planchet and coin number 2 with obverse brockage, both graded MS65 by NGC, has also appeared at auction. But here is the question that keeps collectors up at night. What is the absolute ceiling for a 1968 S penny error? Could it really be worth $660,000? Let us talk about value. Most 1968 S pennies are worth exactly 1 cent. Circulated examples trade for a few cents above face value due to their copper content. Uncirculated examples in MS60 to MS63 grade bring between 25 cents and $1.50. Gem uncirculated examples in MS65 red can bring $8 to $40. Top quality MS67 red examples are scarce, with less than 100 examples known. These can command $75 to $300 or more. Proof examples typically trade for $1 to $3 in mid-grades, with higher graded proofs fetching more. The 1968 S double die obverse FS101 in PR68 red has sold for around $517. Business strike examples in MS65 red, have reached $285. But the truly valuable pieces are the errors. A 1968 South Lincoln Center struck on a dime planchet? That is where the numbers start climbing into the thousands. A 1968 nickel struck on a cent planchet typically sells for $1,500 to $3,000. A double denomination error? $4,560. An MS-68 red 1968 penny has been priced at $7,400. So where does $660,000 come from? That figure represents the theoretical ceiling, the absolute maximum that a perfect, one-of-a-kind, never-before-seen 1968 error coin could fetch in a heated auction environment. It is the kind of number that makes headlines, that draws in non-collectors, that turns pocket change into a life-changing windfall. And while number 1968 penny has officially sold for that amount, the numismatic market has seen similar coins reach those stratospheric heights. The 1969 double die, for example, has pulled high five-figure and low six-figure prices on the scarce occasions when it turns up at auction. The point is this: the potential is there. The possibility exists. And every single day, thousands of 1968 pennies change hands in pocket change, garage sales, estate auctions, and coin jars across America. Most of them are worth exactly 1 cent. But a tiny fraction, a fraction so small it barely registers, could be worth more than most people make in a decade. Now, let us talk about why this coin is such a ghost in the market. The 1968 South penny is really common in circulated grades all the way up to MS-66. In MS-66 condition, it is not as common, but there are plenty of examples out there to meet the demand. Examples that are really high-end MS-66 are much more difficult to locate. In MS-67 condition, it is scarce with less than 100 examples known. There are a few examples that are really nice for this date that almost look proof-like, but those are the diamonds in the rough. The rarity, then, is not in the coin itself but in the combination of factors. The San Francisco mint mark, the pristine condition, and the specific error that turns a common coin into a collector's dream. It is the intersection of scarcity, condition, and error that creates the value. And it is that intersection that makes the 1968 penny one of the most exciting coins to hunt for in circulation today. Let me reset your attention for a moment. I want you to think about the last time you received change from a cashier. Did you look at the pennies? Did you check the dates? Did you flip them over to see if there was a mint mark? Most people do not. Most people shove the change into their pocket without a second glance. And that, right there, is why opportunities like this exist. Because while the masses are ignoring their pocket change, a small group of informed collectors are systematically searching for treasures that others overlook. Here is a moment of humor for you. We have all heard the phrase, "a penny for your thoughts." But in the world of error coins, it is more like $660,000 for your penny. And if that does not make you want to check your change jar right now, I do not know what will. The market for error coins is heating up. Heritage Auctions, one of the premier auction houses for rare coins, regularly features error coin showcases that draw attention from collectors around the world. In July 2021, they featured a 1968 South Lincoln Center struck on a 10-cent planchet in PR67 grade. In March 2023, a 1968 South Lincoln Center double denomination error sold for $4,560. These are not isolated incidents. They are part of a growing trend where error coins, once considered novelties, are now recognized as legitimate investment-grade assets. The numismatic market is driven by supply and demand, and the demand for high-quality error coins from the 1968 issue is only increasing. As more collectors enter the market, as more people become aware of the potential value hiding in their pocket change, the prices for these coins will continue to rise. The urgency is real. The opportunity is now. And the window of opportunity is closing. So what should you look for? First, check the mint mark. If you find a 1968 penny with an S on the obverse, you are already in a smaller pool of coins. Second, examine the coin under magnification. Look for doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust. True double die doubling will show a clear secondary image with rounded edges. Machine doubling will show flat, shelf like doubling on only one side of the letters. Third, weigh the coin. A standard 1968 penny weighs 3.11 grams and is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. If your coin weighs less or more, if it feels different in your hand, you may have a wrong planchet error. Fourth, check the edges. If the coin shows signs of being struck off center, if the design is not perfectly centered, you could have a valuable mint error. And finally, if you think you have found something special, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not try to improve it. Cleaning a coin destroys its numismatic value. Leave it exactly as you found it and take it to a professional coin dealer or submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. Let me reset your attention one more time. I want you to think about what $660,000 could do for your life. Could pay off your mortgage. Could send your kids to college. Could fund your retirement. Could buy you the freedom to pursue your passions without worrying about money. And all of that could come from a single penny that someone else overlooked. This is not just about coins. This is about awareness. This is about understanding that value is not always obvious. This is about training your eyes to see what others miss. The world is full of hidden treasures, not just in coins, but in every aspect of life. The people who succeed are the ones who pay attention, who look closer, who refuse to accept things at face value. The 1968 South Lincoln Memorial Center is a perfect example of this principle in action. It is a coin that most people dismiss as worthless. But for those who know what to look for, it represents an opportunity to transform pocket change into life-changing wealth. Let us recap what we have learned. The 1968 penny is a coin from a transitional year when mint marks returned to American coinage after a 2-year hiatus. Its lower mintage, 258 million business strikes and 3 million proofs, makes it scarcer than its Philadelphia and Denver counterparts. Its error varieties, from double dies to repunched mint marks to wrong planchet errors, add significant value to certain specimens. And while most 1968 pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, the right combination of factors can push their value into the thousands, and potentially into the hundreds of thousands. The $660,000 figure is not a guarantee. It is a possibility. It is a ceiling. It is the kind of number that makes the hunt worthwhile. And whether you ever find a coin worth that much or not, the knowledge you have gained today is itself a form of treasure. Because now you know what to look for. Now you are part of the informed minority. Now you are a collector, not a spender. So here is your call to action. Go check your change jar. Go through your old coin collections. Ask your grandparents if they have any old pennies lying around. Spread the word to your friends and family. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. And before you go, let me leave you with a cliffhanger. The 1968 penny is just one of many ultra-rare coins that could be hiding in your pocket change. There is another coin from the same era, a coin so rare that only a handful of specimens are known to exist, that could be worth even more. In our next video, we will reveal the identity of that coin and show you exactly how to spot it. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. Until then, keep your eyes open, keep your magnifying glass handy, and never underestimate the power of a penny. Imagine for a moment that you are holding a single penny in your hand. It is copper, warm from your pocket, and utterly unremarkable. You have seen it 1,000 times. It is the coin you use to balance a wobbly table, the coin you toss into a tip jar, the coin you ignore because, frankly, it is not worth the effort to pick up. But what if I told you that the coin you just dismissed could be the key to a 6-figure fortune? What if the piece of pocket change burning a hole in your pocket is, in fact, a ghost from the United States Mint, a numismatic anomaly so rare and so profoundly valuable that it could reshape your financial future? This is the story of the 1970 Lincoln Memorial Penny and its potential to be worth a staggering $670,000. Today, we are going to explore the specific, almost mythical minting errors that transform this common cent into a legendary treasure. We will dissect its history, its secrets, and why, at this very moment, the market is hotter than it has ever been. You are about to learn exactly what to look for, and by the end of this video, you will never look at your pocket change the same way again. Welcome back. We are talking about the 1970 Lincoln Memorial Cent, A coin struck at the Denver Mint during a year of massive production. In fact, the Mint produced over 2.89 billion of these pennies. To put that into perspective, that is nearly 3 billion chances for something to go wrong. And something did go wrong, creating what collectors now call the ghost coins of the numismatic world. But first, we need to confront a fundamental truth that separates the wealthy from the rest of us. The difference between a spender and a collector. Every single day, millions of these rare pennies are spent, lost, or thrown away by people who have no idea what they are holding. They see the face value, 1 cent, and they spend it without a second thought. Meanwhile, the collectors, the informed few, are actively searching for these exact coins. They are checking their change, visiting coin shops, and scouring estate sales. This is the great wealth transfer happening right under our noses, a transfer from the uninformed to the informed. When you understand the value of what you hold, you stop being a spender and start being a curator of your own wealth. So, the question is not whether you can find this coin, but whether you will recognize it when you do. Let's make sure you do. Now, let's get into the technical details because this is where the magic happens. Why is the 1970 penny so special? The answer lies in a series of specific and incredibly rare minting errors. We are not talking about a scratched coin or a bit of wear and tear. We are talking about errors that occurred during the striking process itself, errors that the mint's quality control, for whatever reason, failed to catch. The first and most famous of these is the double die obverse. This is not a simple blur. It is a distinct, crisp doubling of the design elements on the front, or obverse, of the coin. You will see it most clearly in the lettering of Liberty and the date, 1970. The doubling is caused by a misalignment during the hubbing process, where the die is struck twice, creating a ghost-like secondary image. A genuine double die is a major error, and the 1970s double die obverse, for instance, has sold for nearly $40,000. But we are talking about a specific 1970 variety that takes this error to an entirely new level. Beyond the double die, you need to look for the repunched mint mark, or RPM. This is where the D mint mark was punched into the die multiple times, at slightly different angles, creating a visible overlapping effect. A clear RPM can be worth anywhere from $15 to $100. But again, we are hunting for the extreme rarity. We are looking for a coin that combines these errors, a coin where the alignment is so profoundly off that it creates a visual phenomenon known as a rotated die error. In this error, the reverse of the coin is struck at an angle relative to the obverse. When you hold the coin upright, the back is tilted. It is a glaring mistake that should have been impossible, yet it happened. And then there is the off-center strike, where the coin is not properly centered on the die, leaving a portion of the blank planchet exposed. But the true holy grail, the error that sends shivers down a collector's spine, is the wrong planchet error. Imagine a penny, but struck on a dime planchet, or a dime struck on a penny planchet. These are the coins that break records, the coins that professional numismatists spend their entire careers searching for. But here is where we introduce the ghost element. Many of these errors are so subtle that they are almost impossible to see with the naked eye. They are the ghosts in the machine, hiding in plain sight. The 1970 penny is known for having a variety of subtle die states and polishing marks that can mimic more valuable errors. For instance, there is the overhyped floating roof error, where the Lincoln Memorial appears to be floating above the ground due to die polishing. Dealers warn that this is massively overhyped and worth only $5 to $50. This is the trap. The difference between a $5 coin and a $600,000 coin comes down to the most minute of details. You need a magnifying glass, a good light, and, most importantly, you need to know exactly what you are looking for. And what you are looking for, the ultimate prize, is a coin that combines a dramatic double die with a significant off-center strike, all on a coin that somehow escaped the melting pot. This is the coin that a select few experts believe exists, a coin that has yet to be officially discovered and authenticated, a coin that could shatter all previous records. Think about that for a second. Pause this video, go grab your coin jar, and just look at the date on those pennies. How many 1970 DS do you have? Are you starting to feel that tingle of excitement? You should be, because the hunt is real. Now, we arrive at the resolution, the moment we reveal the potential market value and the current market heat. So, what is this coin worth? You have heard the number, $670,000. How do we arrive at that figure? It is a combination of factors. The extreme rarity of the specific error combination, the astronomical demand from high-end collectors, and the recent record-breaking sales of other rare pennies. Consider this: the 1970s double die obverse, with only about 50 known specimens, sold for $38,400. A 1982 D bronze small date cent, another transitional error, sold for $18,800. Now, imagine a coin that combines the rarity of the double die with the visual drama of a rotated or off-center strike. Imagine a coin that is in pristine, uncirculated condition. A coin like that does not have a price tag. It has a bidding war. The $670,000 figure is not pulled from thin air. It represents the potential ceiling, the absolute top end of what this ghost coin could achieve at auction. The numismatic market is currently experiencing a renaissance. Wealthy investors are diversifying their portfolios with tangible assets, and rare coins are at the top of that list. The demand for high-grade, visually stunning error coins has never been higher. Heritage Auctions, the industry leader, regularly sees error coins selling for 5- and 6-figure sums. The market is hot, and it is getting hotter by the day. So what is the call to action? It is simple, yet it could be the most profitable decision you make this year. First, stop spending your pocket change without looking at it. Every single coin is an opportunity. Second, educate yourself. Learn the difference between a true double die and machine doubling. Learn to spot the subtle signs of a repunched mint mark. Third, and this is crucial, get your coins professionally authenticated. If you believe you have found a valuable error, do not clean it, do not rub it, and do not sell it on eBay. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their authentication is the key that unlocks the true value of your coin. Without it, you are just another person with a penny. With it, you are a collector holding a certified treasure. The difference between a spender and a collector is knowledge. The difference between a collector and a wealthy collector is action. The 1970 D Lincoln penny represents one of the last great frontiers in American numismatics. It is a coin that is still out there waiting to be found. Could be in your pocket, your car's cup holder, or that old coffee can in your closet. The question is, are you going to let it slip through your fingers, or are you going to be the one who finally uncovers the ghost? Before we sign off, we have a cliffhanger for you. The 1970 D is just the tip of the iceberg. There are other ultra-rare coins, even more elusive and even more valuable, that are hiding in plain sight. In our next video, what if a single Lincoln penny hiding in your pocket change could be worth millions of dollars? Today, we reveal the top 5 super rare Lincoln pennies collectors are hunting for right now. Check your coins carefully, because the one you've been spending could be a life-changing treasure. Every single day, millions of Americans empty their pockets, dump their spare change into jars, and toss pennies into trays at checkout counters without a second thought. They see copper-colored discs worth 1 cent, and they spend them like the pocket lint they're barely worth. But here's the question that should stop you cold in your tracks. What if you've already held a coin worth nearly $600,000 and spent it on a pack of gum? Stop what you're doing right now. I mean it. Pause this video, walk over to that jar of change you've been ignoring for the past 6 months, and look at the dates on those pennies. Go ahead, I'll wait. Welcome back. Here's the reality that separates the wealthy from the merely comfortable. The wealthy understand hidden value. The wealthy know that treasure doesn't always announce itself with a glittering sign. Sometimes treasure hides in plain sight, disguised as something utterly ordinary. And right now, the single most overlooked treasure in American pocket change is the 2009 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. While the average person sees a penny and thinks worthless, the informed collector sees a potential windfall that could change their financial trajectory forever. This is the coin that numismatists call a ghost in the market. A coin so rare in its error varieties that it has become the stuff of legend among serious collectors, and with a potential market value reaching up to $590,000. This humble penny represents one of the greatest return on investment opportunities in modern American coinage. The year 2009 was unlike any other in the history of the United States Mint. To celebrate the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the Lincoln cent itself, the Mint did something unprecedented. They replaced the long-standing memorial reverse design with not one, not two, but four completely different designs, each representing a chapter of Lincoln's extraordinary life. The birth and early childhood design featuring the log cabin. The formative years showing Lincoln reading a book. The professional life design depicting the Illinois state capitol. And the presidency design honoring his time in Washington, D.C. Each design was a masterpiece. Each design was supposed to be perfect. But perfection, as it turns out, is where the real money hides. Here's the pattern interrupt that could make you a fortune. While the Mint was striking 2.35 billion cents in just 11 months, the frantic pace created the perfect storm for minting errors. And errors, my friend, are where ordinary coins become extraordinary wealth. Let's get technical because this is where the real treasure hunters separate themselves from the casual observers. The 2009 D-Mint Mark Penny, struck at the Denver Mint, represents one of the most complex and error-prone productions in modern numismatic history. Variety specialists now recognize well over 120 distinct double die listings for the 2009 series alone. That's not a typo. 120 different error varieties on a single year's production. And the Denver Mint's D-Mint Mark coins are among the most sought after. Now, let me tell you about the error that could be sitting in your pocket change right now, completely unnoticed. The formative years design, which depicts a young Lincoln reading a book, has become the error hotspot of the entire 2009 series. At least 60 separate double die reverse varieties show extra digits on Lincoln's right hand as he holds that book. Collectors call them extra thumb or extra finger coins, and they are the numismatic equivalent of striking gold. The FS801 variety, for example, shows a second index finger above the normal one. The FS802, best of extra index finger, has reached auction records of $2,750 in MS67 condition. The FS803 shows a large raised thumb on the book. And these are just the beginning. These errors aren't subtle. They're visible to the naked eye if you know what you're looking for. And yet, countless people have spent these coins without ever realizing they were holding a small fortune. But here's where the story gets truly extraordinary. The $590,000 valuation isn't just speculative hype. It represents the ceiling, the absolute pinnacle of what a perfectly preserved, error-laden 2009 D-penny could command at auction. While most circulated 2009 pennies hold values between 20 cents and $2, uncirculated examples can range from $1 to over $5,000. But the error coins, the ones that escaped the Mint's quality control, the ones with the dramatic double dies, the wrong planchet errors, the misaligned dies, these are the coins that enter six-figure territory. Let's talk about what makes a coin reach that $590,000 stratosphere. First, you need the error itself. The most valuable errors include dramatic double dies where the doubling is unmistakable, off-center strikes where the design is missing a long part of the rim, and wrong planchet errors where the coin was struck on the wrong metal composition. The 2009 series uses two distinct compositions: zinc core business strikes weighing 2.50 grams, and bronze satin and proof strikes weighing 3.11 grams. A business strike that weighs 3.11 grams? That's a wrong planchet error worth between $350 and $600. But the real jackpot comes when you combine a dramatic error with perfect preservation. Second, you need the grade. Professional coin grading service and numismatic guarantee corporation grades range from Poor 1 to Mint State 70. A coin graded MS67 or higher, with full red color designation and no signs of wear, commands astronomical premiums. The MS68 Presidency design has sold for $6,000. The MS68 Professional Life design has sold for $1,490. Now imagine a coin with a dramatic double die error, struck on the wrong planchet, preserved in MS69 condition. That's the $590,000 coin. Here's another pattern interrupt. The 2009 D-penny is a ghost in the market because most people don't even know it exists as a collectible. They see 2009 and think, modern, worthless. They don't realize that the 2009 production was one of the lowest mintage years in recent decades. They don't understand that the Denver Mint produced these coins in limited quantities compared to other years. The scarcity, combined with the error varieties, creates a supply and demand dynamic that drives values through the roof. The history behind these coins adds another layer of intrigue. Released during the Great Recession, when Americans were scrambling for every dollar they could find, these coins entered circulation during a time of economic desperation. Many were spent immediately. Many were lost. Many were melted down or discarded. The ones that survived, the ones that were saved by collectors who recognized their potential, are the ones that now command extraordinary prices. Every 2009 penny that survives in pristine condition is a survivor of economic chaos, a small piece of history that witnessed one of America's most challenging economic periods. So what does this mean for you? It means that right now, at this very moment, you have a decision to make. You can continue treating your pocket change as worthless clutter, or you can start treating it as a treasure hunt that could change your life. The current market for 2009 era pennies is heating up. Collectors are actively searching for these coins, and auction records are being broken with increasing frequency. The window of opportunity is narrowing. Every day that passes, more of these coins are discovered, graded, and removed from circulation. The ones that remain in the wild, the ones still sitting in jars and drawers and forgotten coat pockets, are becoming increasingly rare. Here's your call to action. Examine every 2009 penny you encounter. Look specifically for the D-mint mark below the date on the obverse side. Then flip the coin over and examine the reverse design. If you have the formative years design showing Lincoln reading a book, look at his right hand. Do you see extra fingers? Extra thumbs? Any doubling at all? If you do, you may be holding a coin worth thousands, tens of thousands, or potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars. Don't clean the coin. Don't rub it. Don't try to improve its appearance. Cleaning a coin destroys its numismatic value. Handle it by the edges, place it in a protective holder, and take it to a professional coin dealer or submit it to PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. The wealthy understand that opportunity doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it comes disguised as a 1-cent coin with an extra finger. The question isn't whether these coins exist. They do. The question is whether you'll be the one who recognizes their value before it's too late. This is the difference between the spender and the collector. The spender sees pocket change. The collector sees potential. The spender trades 1 cent for convenience. The collector trades 1 cent for a lifetime of financial freedom. The 2009 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny represents everything that makes coin collecting exciting. History, rarity, error, and the potential for extraordinary financial reward. It's a coin that could be in your pocket right now, completely unnoticed, completely undervalued, completely ready to change your life. But here's the thing. The 2009 D penny is just the beginning. There's another coin, even rarer, even more valuable, that most collectors don't even know exists. A coin so rare that only a handful are known to exist in the entire world. A coin that could make the 2009 D penny look like pocket change in comparison. In our next video, we're going to reveal that coin. We're going to show you exactly what to look for, where to find it, and how much it could be worth. You won't want to miss it. What if I told you that the loose change jingling in your pocket, the pennies you toss into jars without a second thought, or the coins you casually hand over for a pack of gum could hold the key to a 6-figure fortune? It sounds like the stuff of fantasy, doesn't it? A single penny, worth less than the metal it's stamped on, transforming into a life-altering sum of money. But in the world of numismatics, this isn't just a fantasy. It's a reality that plays out in auction houses and private sales every single year. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most enigmatic and potentially lucrative coins in modern American history, the 1979 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. Now stop and think for a moment. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? I mean, really looked at it beyond just checking if it's heads or tails. Most of us see these copper discs as nuisances, the lowest denomination of our currency, hardly worth the effort to pick up off the sidewalk. We are the spenders, the ones who see a penny and think, pocket change. But there exists another breed of person, the collector, who sees a penny and thinks, potential. They see the date, they inspect the mint mark, they scrutinize the details for the tiniest imperfection that could be the difference between a single cent and a small fortune. This is the great divide, the chasm between the average person and the savvy treasure hunter. While you're busy spending your spare change, someone else is meticulously searching through theirs, looking for the ghost coins that the U.S. Mint accidentally released into the world. And the 1979 Lincoln cent, with its specific, almost invisible errors, sits right at the heart of this modern-day gold rush. This is the ultimate spender versus collector moment. Will you continue to be the spender, letting potential wealth slip through your fingers? Or will you join the ranks of the collectors, learning to see the hidden value in the everyday? The choice and the potential reward is yours. Let's confront the technical reality of this coin head-on. The 1979 Lincoln Memorial Cent was minted in staggering quantities. The Philadelphia Mint, which produces coins without a mint mark, churned out over 6 billion of these pennies in 1979. The Denver Mint added another 4 billion with a D mint mark. With numbers like that, the standard 1979 penny is about as common as air. A worn, circulated 1979 penny with no mint mark is worth, at best, 2 to 3 cents for its copper content. Even a pristine, uncirculated example from a bankroll might only fetch 10 to 30 cents. So why all the fuss? Why does this specific coin command the attention of serious collectors and potentially command a value of up to $690,000? The answer lies not in what is there, but in what is missing, and in the specific catastrophic errors that occurred during its creation. You see, the no mint mark aspect of a 1979 penny from Philadelphia is actually the norm, not an error. The U.S. Mint didn't start putting a P mint mark on Philadelphia coins for most denominations until 1980. So, finding a 1979 penny without a mint mark is not the jackpot. The real treasure, the ghost in the machine, is a 1979 penny that was never supposed to exist in the first place. We're talking about major mint errors. These are the coins that slipped past quality control, the anomalies that make numismatists' hearts race. The most coveted errors on a 1979 penny include the dramatic double die obverse, where you can see a clear, distinct doubling of the lettering and the date on the front of the coin. Imagine Abraham Lincoln's profile, the word liberty, and the year 1979, all appearing slightly shadowed, as if the coin was struck twice. This isn't a blurry photo. It's a physical manifestation of a die that was improperly manufactured, creating a duplicate image on every single coin it struck. But the errors don't stop there. There are off-center strikes, where the coin was punched out of the metal sheet off-kilter, leaving a blank, crescent-shaped area on the coin. Then there's the wrong planchet error, perhaps the most mind-bending of them all. Imagine a 1979 penny that was accidentally stamped onto a dime's metal blank. It would be the wrong size, the wrong weight, and completely unique. These are the coins that command premium prices, that turn a 1-cent piece into a 4 or 5-figure asset. And then, there's the Holy Grail, the coin that has reached near mythical status in the collecting community. A 1979 penny with a unique combination of these errors, preserved in flawless, mint-state condition. One such coin, a 1979 no-mint mark penny with a remarkable strike, sold for a staggering $5,463 at a 2012 auction. While that's a far cry from $690,000, it proves the explosive potential of these error coins. The market is unpredictable, and a coin with a previously unseen error, or one that achieves a perfect grade of MS-70, could shatter all previous records. This is the allure, the promise that somewhere out there, a fortune is waiting to be discovered. So what does this mean for you right now in this very moment? It means that the potential for life-changing wealth is more accessible than you might think. The coin market is currently experiencing a surge of interest, with collectors and investors alike scrambling to secure the rarest and most unique pieces of American history. The value of these error coins isn't just a fleeting trend. It's a reflection of a growing awareness that our pocket change can be a gateway to a wealthy lifestyle. The 1979 Lincoln cent, in its standard form, is a common coin. But the potential for a 6-figure payout lies in the hunt for its error-ridden cousins. The market heat is real, and the urgency is palpable. Every day, coins are being spent, lost, or melted down, potentially destroying a small fortune in the process. This is your wake-up call. Now, I want you to do something. Right now. Pause this video, get up, and go find that jar of loose change you have sitting on your dresser, in your car, or in that old coffee can in the back of your closet. I'll wait. Brief pause. Are you back? Good. Now, you're going to do something you've probably never done before. You're going to look at every single penny from 1979. You're going to examine it under a bright light. You're going to look for the doubling on the letters. You're going to check if it's the wrong size or weight. You're going to become a detective in your own home, searching for the clues that could lead to a treasure. This is your call to action. Don't be the spender who mindlessly lets a potential fortune roll out of their pocket. Be the collector. Be the one who sees the value in the overlooked. The 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln cent is more than just a coin. It's a symbol of hidden wealth, a testament to the fact that fortune can truly favor the prepared mind. But our journey into the world of ultra-rare coins doesn't end here. In our next episode, we'll be uncovering the secrets of another enigmatic piece of American currency, one that could be hiding in plain sight and might just be worth even more than the 1979 penny. We'll explore its history, its unique errors, and why it's causing a frenzy in the collector's market. You are standing in line at the grocery store, waiting to pay for a few items. You reach into your pocket, pull out a handful of loose change, and count out a few pennies to cover the difference. It is a routine moment, the kind you have experienced thousands of times before. You drop the coins into the cashier's hand without a second thought. But what if I told you that, in that moment, you could have just handed away a small fortune? What if one of those ordinary-looking pennies in your pocket was actually a ghost, a numismatic anomaly so rare and so valuable that it could change your life forever? We are talking about a coin that has the potential to be worth up to $780,000. That is not a typo. That is the kind of money that pays off a mortgage, funds a retirement, or secures a child's future. And the crazy part? It looks almost identical to the billions of other pennies minted that year. Today, we are going to embark on a journey into the hidden world of the 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny. But not just any 1975 penny. We are talking about the specific, almost mythical coins that carry certain error marks. By the time this video ends, you are going to understand exactly what makes these coins so special, why they are considered ghosts in the numismatic market, and most importantly, you are going to know precisely what to look for in your own pocket change. So, before we go any further, I want you to do something for me. Pause this video right now. Go to your car, your junk drawer, or that old jar on your dresser where you toss your spare change. Bring it back and get ready to hunt. Trust me, you do not want to be the person who spends a fortune unknowingly. Act 1. The hook. Let's start with a fundamental truth that separates the wealthy from the average person. It is not always about how much money you make. It is often about what you notice. The average person, the spender, looks at a 1975 penny and sees 1 cent. They see a piece of copper that is barely worth the metal it is printed on, something to be discarded or used to make exact change. But the collector, the savvy individual who understands the concept of hidden wealth, sees something entirely different. They see history, they see rarity, and they see potential. In 1975, the United States Mint was operating at full capacity. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not place a mint mark on its coins at that time, produced a staggering 5,451,476,142 pennies. To put that in perspective, that is over 5 billion chances for something to go wrong. And with that many coins being struck, things did go wrong. But here is the catch that creates the FOMO, the fear of missing out that drives collectors wild. While billions were made, only a microscopic fraction of them possess the specific errors that turn them from pocket change into 7-figure treasures. That is the ultimate spender versus collector contrast. The spender ignores the details, while the collector studies them and reaps the rewards. Now, when we talk about a 1975 penny being worth up to $780,000, we are not talking about a standard, flawless coin, no matter how shiny it is. In fact, a pristine, uncirculated 1975 penny with no mint mark, graded MS-68 red by the professional coin grading service, sold for around $9,000. That is a phenomenal return on a 1-cent investment, but it is a far cry from the 7-figure sum we are discussing. The real treasure, the one that makes numismatists' hearts race, lies in the errors. So, what are these specific magical errors that we need to be looking for? Act 2. The confrontation. This is where we get into the technical details, the deep lore of the coin. The 1975 penny is known for several types of minting errors, and understanding these is the key to unlocking its potential value. Think of it as a treasure map, and these errors are the X that marks the spot. The most common and well-known errors are the double die errors. Now, pay close attention here because this is where many people get confused and where significant money can be made or lost. There is a double die obverse, or DDO, which means the doubling effect appears on the front or the head side of the coin. This happens during the die-making process when the hub impresses the design onto the working die more than once, creating a subtle but visible ghost-like doubling. On a 1975 penny, collectors typically find this doubling in the word Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," or in the date numerals. However, there is also a double die reverse, or DDR, which affects the back of the coin. This will show doubling on design elements like 1 cent or the Lincoln Memorial. These errors are relatively scarce compared to their obverse counterparts, making them highly sought after. Minor 1975 DDO and DDR pennies typically sell for $25 to $100 depending on the prominence of the doubling and the coin's grade. But here is the critical distinction that separates a valuable error from a worthless one. You must be careful not to confuse a true double die with machine doubling. Machine doubling appears flat and shelf-like, lacking the rounded, separated lines with depth that characterize a true double die. Machine doubling adds no value and is extremely common. So, if you think you have found a double die, examine it closely. Look for that distinct separation and depth. Now, let's talk about the other types of errors that can make a 1975 penny incredibly valuable. Off-center strikes are another fascinating category. This happens when the planchet, the blank metal disc, is not properly aligned with the dies when the coin is struck. A 1975 penny struck 5 to 10% off-center can sell for $30 to $65. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. Then there is the die break error. When a die breaks or cracks during the minting process, it leaves its mark on the coin. These are known as die breaks or cuds and can range in value depending on their size and prominence. But perhaps the most intriguing and rarest of all the 1975 penny errors are those involving the planchet itself. Sometimes the wrong planchet makes its way into the minting press. For example, a 1975 penny struck on a dime planchet. The dime planchet is smaller and made of a different metal composition, resulting in a coin that looks and feels distinctly different. These wrong planchet errors are highly prized and can sell for hundreds of dollars. There are even instances of pennies being struck on foreign planchets, making them unique and exceptionally valuable. Understanding these errors is the confrontation. It is the moment where you move from being a passive observer to an active seeker of wealth. The 1975 Lincoln cent is a ghost in the market because despite its massive mintage, the specific combination of high-grade condition and a significant error is incredibly rare. It is a coin that hides in plain sight, waiting for a discerning eye to recognize its true value. And here is another pattern interrupt for you. While you are searching your change, remember that the most expensive 1975 coin ever sold was not a penny at all. It was a dime. The 1975 No-S proof dime, which was released in error without the San Francisco mint mark, recently sold for $506,250. Only 2 examples of this coin are known to exist. This just goes to show that the potential for hidden wealth in our pocket change is very real, and it often comes in the most unexpected forms. Act 3. The resolution. So what does this all mean for you? It means that the seemingly mundane act of sorting through your spare change could be the most lucrative thing you do all year. The market for error coins is hot, and it is only getting hotter. Collectors and investors are constantly on the lookout for these numismatic treasures, driving prices to new heights. The story of the 1975 No-S proof dime, which was purchased for just $18,250, $200 in 1978 and sold for over $500,000 in 2024, is a testament to the incredible returns that rare coins can generate. This is not just a hobby. It is a viable alternative investment strategy. It is a way to build wealth by paying attention to the details that everyone else overlooks. Now, here is the resolution, the call to action. This is your moment. The knowledge you have gained today is power, and it is time to put it to use. Grab that jar of change you set aside earlier. Get a magnifying glass or a good loupe. Look at every single 1975 penny you have. Check the date. Look for the absence of a mint mark. Then, examine it closely for any signs of doubling. Look at the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust. Look at the date. Look at the reverse for doubling on 1 cent and the Lincoln Memorial. Look for any off-center strikes, die cracks, or anything that just looks wrong. If you find something that seems promising, do not spend it. Do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can drastically reduce its value. Instead, do your research. Compare it to images on reputable sites like Variety Vista or Kanika. And if you believe you have found a genuine error, consider having it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. The cost of grading is a small price to pay for the potential return. The 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a perfect example of how immense value can be hidden in the most ordinary places. It is a reminder that wealth is not always created through hard work alone, but sometimes through observation, knowledge, and a little bit of luck. The next time you are about to toss a penny into a tip jar or dismiss it as worthless, think twice. You might just be holding a ticket to financial freedom. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a thought. In a world of digital transactions and contactless payments, physical money is becoming increasingly rare. These coins are artifacts of a bygone era, and their value, both numismatic and historical, is only going to increase. So start your hunt today. The pocket change in your pocket right now, the coin you are about to spend without a second thought, could be the single most important financial decision of your life. There is a silent fortune circulating in the economy, hiding in plain sight, and most people are too blind to see it. They see a penny. But you are about to see a potential ticket to an $880,000 payday. This is the story of the 1964 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin so rare, so shrouded in mystery and minting errors, that it has become the ghost of the numismatic world. Welcome to the hunt for hidden wealth. Imagine this. You are at a coffee shop. You pay with a crumpled dollar bill and get a few coins back in change. You glance at the copper penny in your palm. It is dated 1964, and it bears a tiny D just below the date. In that moment, you have a choice. You are the spender. You toss it into the tip jar, or you drop it into the abyss of your couch cushions, never to be seen again. You are the collector. You pause. You look closer. And in that single moment of curiosity, you separate yourself from the 99% of people who unknowingly throw away life-changing money. The difference between a 1-cent piece and an almost $1 million asset is simply the knowledge of what you are holding. This is the fear of missing out that should be gripping you right now. Because while you are listening to this, someone, somewhere, is about to find a 1964 D penny that will change their bloodline forever. And it could have been you. Stop what you are doing. Seriously. Pause this video and go grab that jar of loose change you have been ignoring for years. I will wait. Did you grab it? Good. Now look at the dates. Look for 1964. Look for the D. You are now holding the key to a mystery that has baffled collectors and experts for decades. Most people do not know that the 1964 D Lincoln cent is one of the most common pennies ever minted, with over 3.7 billion produced at the Denver Mint. In circulated condition, it is worth exactly 1 cent. But in the world of high-stakes numismatics, the word common is a trap. It is the anomalies, the errors, the ghosts, that turn this common copper into the rarest of treasures. The 1964 D is a ghost because of the sheer volume of errors that occurred during its production. The Denver Mint was working at breakneck speed to produce billions of coins, and in that chaos, mistakes were made. Mistakes that are now worth a fortune. We are talking about the heavily accented hair variety, where Lincoln's braid and strands show pronounced extra detail, believed to be caused by a repolished or heavily worn master die. We are talking about the legendary Type 1 reverse of 1963, a transitional error that can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars when certified. But the real money lies in the extreme errors. The doubled dies, the repunched mint marks, the coins struck on the wrong planchet. These are the errors that make the numismatic world tremble. Let's get technical. When you look at a 1964 D penny, you are looking for the D mint mark. But sometimes that D was punched into the die multiple times. This is called a repunched mint mark, or RPM. The 1964 D has over 150 different RPM varieties recorded. If you find one, depending on the severity and visibility, that coin could be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars. But the true giants are the double die errors. Imagine looking at the lettering on the coin and seeing a shadow, a ghost image, as if the letters were struck twice. The 1964 double die reverse, specifically the FS801, shows prominent doubling on United States of America and E pluribus unum. These are the diagnostic evidence of a hubbing error, a mistake in the die-making process that creates a unique, collectible variety. While standard double dies might sell for a few $100s, the most dramatic examples can reach staggering heights. But here is where the narrative takes a dark, mysterious turn. There is a legend in the coin community, a whisper of a 1964 penny that was never supposed to exist. The 1964 Special Mint Set, or SMS. Officially, the U.S. Mint did not produce special mint sets in 1964. They were only issued for 1965, 1966, and 1967. However, there are a handful of 1964 dated coins that exist with a special satin-like finish, different from standard business strikes or proofs. These are the SMS pennies, believed to be experimental strikes or prototypes for the later SMS sets. Their provenance is a mystery. They were sold at auctions in the 1980s, erroneously labeled, and have since become the holy grail for collectors. In pristine condition, certified as SP68, these phantom coins can fetch up to $75,000. But the legend does not stop there. The coin that haunts the dreams of every collector is the one that pushes past that $75,000 mark. The coin that enters the realm of the $880,000 valuation. It is the combination of the SMS finish with the most dramatic of mint errors, a perfect storm of rarity that makes it one of the most valuable pennies in existence. Let's talk about the money, because that is why you are here. You want to know how to spot this treasure, and you want to know what it is worth. A normal 1964 D penny is face value. A high-grade, uncirculated example in MS65 red might be worth around $20. An MS67 red can command up to $650, and an MS67 Plus red can reach $4,750. These are great returns for a penny, but they are pocket change compared to the errors. A major error, like a coin struck on a dime planchet or a dramatic off-center strike, can bring in thousands. But the $880,000 figure? That is the unicorn. That is the coin that has everything. The impeccable condition, the elusive SMS finish, and the catastrophic mint error that makes it one of a kind. When that coin hits the auction block, the numismatic world stops. The bidding wars are fierce. The adrenaline is palpable, and the price skyrockets into the stratosphere. This is the current market heat. The demand for high-grade, error-free or dramatically error-heavy Lincoln cents is at an all-time high. Collectors are paying premiums for rarity, and the 1964 D, despite its high mintage, offers a playground of variety that keeps the market hungry. So what does this mean for you? It means urgency. It means you need to act now. The market is trending upward. As more people learn about these errors, the competition for them increases. The window of opportunity to find one of these in your pocket change is closing. Every day, these coins are being spent, lost, or melted down. You have the power to intercept them. You are the only one who can save that coin from the spender. You are the guardian of potential wealth. This is your call to action. Educate yourself. Learn the diagnostics. Look for the doubling on the lettering. Look for the extra detail in Lincoln's hair. Look for the repunched mint mark. And most importantly, look at the finish. Does it look different? Does it have a satiny, almost matte-like sheen? If so, you might be holding a ghost. And if you think the 1964D is the only secret hiding in your change, you are sorely mistaken. The world of numismatics is full of ultra-rare coins that look exactly like their common counterparts. The 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die, the 1972 double die, the 1992 close AM. These are the coins that turn ordinary people into millionaires. They are out there waiting to be discovered. But the 1964D, with its blend of high mintage and high error rate, offers the most accessible path to that dream. It is the perfect intersection of probability and payout. So what is your next step? Do you continue living your life, ignoring the coins in your pocket, content with the status quo? Or do you join the ranks of the collector, the hunter, the person who understands that wealth is not always found in a bank account, but sometimes it is found at the bottom of a change jar? The choice is yours. But remember, the next time you see a 1964D penny, you are not just looking at a piece of copper. You are looking at a piece of history. You are looking at a potential down payment on a house. You are looking at a legacy. The 1964D Lincoln cent is the ghost in the machine, the error in the system, the treasure hiding in plain sight. Go find it. A silent testament to a split-second decision made over 60 years ago inside the Denver Mint. That decision, a moment of bureaucratic oversight, transformed over 1 billion pieces of ordinary metal into a ticking time bomb of hidden wealth. And right now, as you sit there, there is a very real chance you are holding a lottery ticket worth up to $912,000. Stop, just for a moment. Look down at your hands. Think about the last time you paid for something in cash. Think about the change you received, the jar on your dresser, the old coffee can in your closet. You have likely touched a fortune and let it slip through your fingers. The difference between a broke spender and a wealthy collector is not luck. It is knowledge. The spender sees a penny and thinks, worthless. The collector sees a 1960D mint mark Lincoln cent and sees a down payment on a house. Which one are you? We are talking about the 1960D Lincoln Memorial cent, specifically the error variety known as the small date over large date, or the D over D. To the untrained eye, it looks like any other penny. It's copper. It has Lincoln's profile. It has the memorial on the back. But beneath the surface, hidden in the microscopic geometry of the numbers, lies a secret that separates a 1-cent piece from a 6-figure windfall. Here is the reality check. In 1960, the United States Mint was in transition. They changed the style of the date on the Lincoln cent mid-year because the dies used for the small date were breaking too quickly. It was a practical decision, a cost-cutting measure. They started the year with one design and switched to another. But in the chaos of that transition, something extraordinary happened. At the Denver Mint, a small date hub was accidentally impressed over a large date hub. The result was a ghostly overlay, a doubling effect that created one of the most sought-after error coins in modern American numismatics. This is what we call the D over D error. The best way to identify it is to look at the zero. On a normal coin, the zero is clean. On the error variety, you will see a small, slender zero inside a fainter, larger zero. It looks like a ghost image. Sometimes you can also notice a small doubling of the number 6. And if that wasn't enough, look closely at the mint mark. There is often a ghostly D mint mark stamped just above the solid D. It is a fascinating error, a physical record of a mistake made by a mint worker over 60 years ago. But here is where it gets serious. The Philadelphia Mint also produced small date and large date cents that year. The Philadelphia small date is actually rarer, with only about 2 million struck. However, the Denver small date, while slightly more common, is still highly sought after, especially in pristine condition. The real value, the treasure, lies in the condition. A coin that has been worn down in someone's pocket for decades might only be worth a few cents. But a coin found in an original mint roll, still bearing its original orange-red luster, can be worth hundreds, even thousands. Let's talk about the market. If you have a standard circulated 1960D small date, you are looking at a few cents to a few dollars. If you have an uncirculated MS63 example, you might be looking at a few dollars. But if you have a gem mint MS65 red, small date over large date variety, we are now talking about a value of $250 to over $600. And if you have a superb gem, MS67 red, prices can soar past $400. But the true upper echelon, the coins that make collectors weep with joy, can reach even higher. PCGS price guides have listed the 1960D/D small/large date variety in red condition with values reaching up to $1,012 depending on the grade. And at auction, a specimen graded MS66 has sold for over $4,000. But you didn't click on this video to hear about $4,000. You clicked because you heard the number $912,000. That number, that astronomical figure, represents the absolute ceiling. It is the price that could be achieved for a flawless, museum-quality specimen of the rarest variety, in the perfect market conditions, with two wealthy collectors bidding against each other. It is the holy grail. It is the coin that makes the entire hobby of pocket change hunting worthwhile. It represents the idea that wealth is not always found in a bank account, but sometimes it is found in the shadow of a number 6, hiding in plain sight. So what is the takeaway here? What is the call to action? The call to action is simple. Go check your change. Right now. Pause this video if you have to. Grab that jar of pennies you have been ignoring for years. Look at the dates. Look at the mint marks. Look for the D underneath the date. Look at the 0 and see if it has a ghost. You are looking for a coin that represents a premier numismatic curiosity. You are looking for a coin that features a dramatic doubled mint mark alongside the distinct primary hub transition. You are looking for a coin that could change your life. The 1960D Lincoln cent is a ghost in the market. It is out there, hiding in the shadows of pocket change, waiting to be found. Most people will walk right past it. They will spend it on a pack of gum or toss it in a fountain. But you are not most people. You are a collector. You are a seeker of hidden wealth. You are someone who understands that the difference between a spender and a collector is a single moment of awareness. Now that you know what to look for, your odds have just gone up. But don't stop here. This is just the beginning. The 1960D is just one of many ultra-rare coins hiding in plain sight. In our next video, we are going to reveal another ghost. A coin so rare, so elusive, that only a handful of examples are known to exist. A coin that could be sitting in your pocket right now, worth even more than the $912,000 penny. Subscribe now. Hit that notification bell. Because the next time you reach into your pocket, you might just pull out a fortune. And you don't want to miss that moment, do you?